Welcome to The Guide at Fish North Georgia. Brought to you by these fine sponsors. Spro, working with America's best anglers to design the world's finest fishing tackle. Nichols Lures, handcrafted to perfection. Georgia Blade, makers of premium fishing lures for over 3 decades and home to the Georgia Jig. Crypto Bass, tournament grade, Georgia made. And be sure to visit fishnorthgeorgia.com. And now here's Charles Ashley Shelnutt.
Hello and welcome to The Guide at Fish North Georgia. I'm Charles Ashley Shelnutt and I'm coming to you for a fishing report for Lake Seminole. I was out there this past Saturday on February 27th. I'll kind of go over the lake itself a little bit with you. The water clarity on the main lake was pretty muddy to heavy silty. Didn't have too much visibility, maybe 6, 7, 8 inches. Water temps on the main lake there in the creek were hovering low 60s to around 60 to 63 degrees, somewhere around there. I'm sure you could find warmer water somewhere on the main lake and the creek, but the time I had down there, that's just what I found. The backwater ponds were a good bit warmer on Seminole. They've had a lot of warmer weather here lately. We were down there a couple weeks ago at the Hobie event, and the water temperatures were around 50 to 52 degrees. So 2 to 3 weeks later, they have risen up. Pretty much these backwater ponds are looking at 62 to 67 degrees, definitely that spawning temperature, and we definitely found bass on bed in the backwaters. And once I found these fish on bed and the pre-spawn bite was pretty inconsistent to me, I went around and marked these fish with the GPS, standing up, paddling around. Would find the beds and pretty much mark where the beds were. So on tournament day, I wouldn't get too close to the bed. It was good and cloudy the first 2 to 3 hours of the tournament. And, you know, the pre-spawn bite, like I said, wasn't that consistent, but that was probably the best thing to do under those conditions at the time. So I stayed out a little deeper and started my morning off throwing a jerk bait and was able to pick up a few smaller fish. I didn't really hook into anything decent with it, but this bait really does shine this time of year and can catch really big fish. This is a Strike King 200 model KVD series. It's a crystal shad or crystal sexy shad, I guess you say. It's a sexy shad that's transparent, pearlized with glitter on it. That's a really good bait this time of year, especially around the cleaner water. Another search bait I was throwing was this, it's basically a this is a 5-inch dinner bell swim bait, or actually dinner minnow, I'm sorry. But this bait is made local from Bull Slice. It's a company I really like. It's a great guy. I met him at an expo one day and we hit it off pretty well. So I've been using his baits and I really like them. He's out of Marietta, Georgia, so give him a look up. I didn't catch anything off the swim bait that day, but I didn't really throw it a lot. I pretty much stepped with the jerk bait, and I also threw a Cinco style bait. This is a Yum Dinger in a ghillie suit color. It's a green pumpkin with blue, gold, and different types of glitter colorations in it. I really love this color, especially in clean water. Would through this Texas rig weedless, even put a split shot on it at times, and would just, you know, jerk it and pause it, and let it kind of flutter through the grass, fish that outer grass line, trying to hover around the 8 to 12 foot mark with that bait. It's at least till the sun started coming up. And another bait that was working and would work as well is a swim jig. It's a swim worm, but this is a bigger one made by Big Bite Baits here, and It's actually called a Tor swim worm. This is a dark watermelon red flake. But Netbait makes a really good swim worm as well. Zoom, of course, makes a really good ultraviolet speed worm. That's basically what you're looking at, is a cutter type tail, a kicker type tail worm that you can throw and either slowly pull or slowly swim. And you can throw this guy weedless, weightless, or with a small split shot, or a screw lock type 1/8 ounce weight into the head, and just throw it up right up against the bank and just swim it right off. It's really good bait, especially for these buck bass that come up shallow early. They really like to hammer on it, but not to say that you can't catch females on it as well. But my day really didn't start showing up really good until I started fishing for the spawning fish. So after the sun came up good enough, I tried a little earlier, but it was still not bright enough for me to see the fish to really target them well. So once it got bright enough for me to go around and really be able to see the fish on the bed and see what they're doing to the bait, I started, trying to go get my limit bed fishing. And I would throw a Grande Bass Airtail Wriggler worm. It's got a hollow tail on it that helps the bait stand up on the bottom. And I would cut it down to size just to not give, the fish so much to have to grab onto in the bed, because lots of times they're not trying to eat it, they're just trying to move it. So I take it down to almost like a Ned rig size, and I will throw Ned rigs in the bed as well. But this is kind of, became my Ned rig on the bed, because I can throw it Texas rigged, weedless, and adjust the size that I need with it, and the tail's still going to stand up. And I can just sit there and shake it in the bed, and I can add a little rattle to the tail and give them a little bit more aggravation with that rattling noise, clicking like a crawdad or something like that. Just kind of tee them off to get them to eat. But I was also throwing the Cinco in the beds. I was trying multiple colors. That's what you do on bedded bass. Sometimes you need a brighter color to see if they're actually taking the bait or something. Sometimes you need a natural color just to get them to eat it. So there's multiple ways and different moods on bedded bass. Another idea and another thing that I do is I throw a small type rattle trap bait, and I'll try to reel it through a bed and get them to react. Same way with the jerk bait. I'll try to throw it and jerk it through the bed and get them to react. But in this case, a lot of the beds were 4.5 foot deep, surrounded by grass that topped up, a foot off the bottom. So it was kind of hard to get that bait in that little hole. So most of the time you'd have to throw it and just let it sink down in there. But you can still use this bait under that circumstance. So this is a TN50 made by Jackal, and it is a tungsten type style rattle trap. It's got a metal front of its head. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm gonna try to hold it in a different spot. Okay, you see that right there? That's tungsten, and it'll nosedive really good. So you can throw it. It doesn't flutter all over the place when you're trying to get it in that bed. It'll nosedive down to there and hit what you're trying to aim to get that bait to. I'll get it on the bottom. If it stands up, from the nose dive like that, I'll try to let it sit there and see what the fish will do. But basically what I'm trying to do is get this this bait in the bed and just kind of shake it like a baby rattler, and just kind of, teeing them off to get them to strike on it. And being the size is really small, the treble hooks are really close together. Most of the time when they put their mouth on this, they're going to have hooks. And that's the crucial thing about bedded fishing, especially during a tournament. When you're bed fishing or sight fishing, you have to get these fish in the mouth for it to be legal. So, with a bait this small, treble hook so close, it's hard for them not to get the hooks. I really like this setup for that, and it's something that a lot of people don't do. I I wasn't able to really find too much big fish on bed. I was able to find a couple after I had my limit when I was going around just trying to find bigger fish. And come across 2 5-pounders that probably had been fished on probably by 10 to 15 people through the day. I got one to flare on at one time, set the hook, and she wasn't there. So I spent my majority of the time trying to get those fish toward the end of the day, and really needed one of them to commit and couldn't get it to happen. But coming in at the end of the day, the tournament had 63 anglers. I finished 12th. Got my limit. You know, anytime that you get your limit and you spend the day, you know, really focused and trying to accomplish the goal, you got to be happy with what the outcome was. So 12th's not a bad place to finish, and I'm happy with it. So next tournament for me will be March 27th, Georgia Kayak Fishing League. I am the co-director of Georgia Kayak Fishing League, so if you want to ask any questions about Georgia Kayak Fishing League, feel free to give me a shout. I'm also the Classic City Tournament Team captain, and we are a club local to Athens and around Walton County that we do a lot of things in the community other than just tournaments as well. We're going to be doing some cookouts and fundraisers and campouts and things like that. So if y'all, and cleaning up some boat ramps or rivers and stuff like that. So if you're in the local area and you want to join up with the club or the team, just let us know, and you're more than welcome to tag team along with us there. Also, make sure you go to Fish North Georgia store and give all the baits a look and purchase some stuff at Fish North Georgia, and go to their online store as well, and you should be able to find what you're looking for. They carry a variety of baits for a lot of tackle stores or a lot of local companies here in Georgia and in the surrounded areas. Also wanted to take this time to clue you in on a really good realtor that's in the area. This is the Prince Group. Casey Prince and her mother run a really spectacular realtor group here around Walton County area, but they cover a pretty decent area. She was actually the sales realtor of the year last year, and she'll probably get it again this year. So if you're looking to sell a house or buy a house, look up Prince Realtor Group there. And if you need any home repairs, pressure washing things or anything like that, you can feel free to give me a shout. I do under the sun home repairs and improvements. I do pressure washing, painting, wood rot repairs, and house, fix up houses and things like that. So just give me a shout for that. And again, this is the guide at Fish North Georgia. I really appreciate your time, and be on the lookout for future content here on the guide. And thank you so much. My name's Charles Shelnutt, and that is more nuts than shells. Y'all have a good evening.
Thanks for watching the guide here at Fish North Georgia. Our mission is to build a community of anglers to give you the best and latest information to make your day on the water more successful. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, click the bell so you'll be notified of any future content. Make sure you check us out at fishnorthgeorgia.com, where we carry a large variety of bait manufacturers from here in the North Georgia area. So we appreciate you being part of our community, and we'll see you soon.